In a world often characterized by chaos and distractions, there exists an invaluable virtue that has the power to transform lives: self-control. In this extensive exploration, we will delve deep into Marcus Aurelius's teachings on self-control. By the end of this video, you will not only have a profound understanding of the subject, but also practical tools to master the art of self-control and apply it to your life. Chapter 1. The Stoic Virtue of Self-Control. Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic philosopher, believed that self-control was at the core of leading a virtuous and fulfilling life. To him, it was a fundamental Stoic virtue, intertwined with wisdom, courage, and justice. In the chaos of our modern world, self-control provides a guiding light, helping individuals navigate the labyrinth of distractions, temptations, and impulsiveness. Let's expand more on self-control. The Stoics regarded self-control as one of the four cardinal virtues, along with wisdom, courage, and justice. These virtues were seen as the foundation of a flourishing life. Self-control, in particular, was viewed as the linchpin, as it governs how we respond to external events and internal emotions. It's important to understand that Stoic self-control is not synonymous with repression or austerity. Instead, it's about aligning our actions with reason and virtue. The Stoics believed that true freedom comes from mastering oneself, from being in control of our reactions, and from choosing what is right, regardless of external circumstances. Marcus Aurelius wrote extensively about the relationship between self-control and virtue in his meditations. He emphasized that self-control is essential for living a life of integrity and moral excellence. It's the foundation upon which all other virtues are built. Chapter 2. The Dichotomy of Control. At the heart of Marcus Aurelius's teachings on self-control lies the Stoic concept of the dichotomy of control. It's the idea that there are things within our control and things outside of it. This philosophical framework provides profound insights into how we can cultivate self-control in our lives. Let's expand more on the dichotomy of control. The dichotomy of control is a pivotal concept in Stoicism and serves as the bedrock for understanding where self-control should be applied. Marcus Aurelius and other Stoics argued that we have control over our internal thoughts, emotions, desires, and actions. These are the aspects of life we should focus on and over which we have the power to exercise self-control. However, there are aspects of life that are beyond our control, such as external events, other people's actions, and the natural order of the universe. Stoicism teaches us to recognize these external factors as indifferent to our virtue and not worth becoming emotionally entangled with. By understanding this distinction, we can avoid unnecessary frustration, anxiety, and anger caused by trying to control what is beyond our control. Instead, we can invest our energy in mastering our internal responses and making choices in alignment with reason and virtue. Chapter 3. Stoic Mindfulness. Stoic mindfulness is about paying close attention to our thoughts, emotions, and reactions. It's about becoming aware of our impulses and desires. By observing these inner workings, we gain the power to pause, reflect, and choose our responses thoughtfully. Let's expand more on Stoic mindfulness. Stoic mindfulness is often compared to modern practices of mindfulness and meditation. It involves being present in the moment, observing our thoughts and feelings without judgment, and consciously directing our attention. For Marcus Aurelius and other Stoics, mindfulness was a tool for self-examination and self-improvement. By closely examining our thoughts and emotions, we can identify unhelpful patterns, irrational beliefs, and automatic reactions. This self-awareness is the first step in exercising self-control. In times of emotional upheaval or stress, Stoic mindfulness allows us to step back and objectively assess the situation. It enables us to differentiate between what is within our control, our responses, and what is not, external events. This clear-headedness is a cornerstone of self-control, as it empowers us to make rational decisions rather than impulsive ones. Marcus Aurelius's writings and his meditations are filled with reflections on the importance of mindfulness and self-awareness. He saw these practices as essential for living a life in harmony with Stoic principles. Chapter 4. Embracing Self-Discipline. Self-control and self-discipline go hand in hand. Marcus Aurelius believed that discipline was a means to achieve a tranquil mind and a virtuous life. He wrote, "The key is to keep company only with people who uplift you, whose presence calls forth your best." Let's expand more on self-discipline. Self-discipline is a concept that transcends cultures and time periods. It's the ability to regulate one's behavior, emotions, and desires in pursuit of long-term goals and values. In the context of Stoicism, self-discipline is the practical application of self-control. One of the key aspects of self-discipline is setting clear intentions and aligning one's actions with those intentions. This requires a deep understanding of one's values and priorities. Marcus Aurelius, as a Stoic, believed that virtue was the highest value, and self-discipline was the means to live virtuously. Self-discipline often involves making choices that require short-term discomfort for long-term gain. For example, resisting the temptation to procrastinate on important tasks or maintaining a regular exercise routine even when it's challenging. It's about delaying gratification and staying focused on the bigger picture. In modern psychology, self-discipline is closely related to willpower and self-regulation. Research suggests that it's a finite resource that can be strengthened through practice. The Stoic approach aligns with this idea. By repeatedly exercising self-discipline, we can enhance our capacity for self-control. Chapter 5. Overcoming Impulses and Desires. Self-control often requires us to overcome impulsive desires, the irresistible urge to indulge in that extra piece of cake, make an impulsive purchase, or react angrily to criticism. Marcus Aurelius observed, "The things you think about determine the quality of your mind." Let's expand more on overcoming impulses and desires. Impulses and desires are natural aspects of being human. However, they can often lead us astray when left unchecked. The Stoics recognized that unchecked desires could lead to emotional turmoil and moral compromise. Therefore, they emphasized the importance of mastering our desires through self-control. One of the fundamental Stoic practices for overcoming impulses and desires is to engage in rational reflection. When faced with a strong desire or impulse, Stoics would pause and ask themselves a series of questions. Is this desire in alignment with my values and long-term goals? What are the potential consequences of giving in to this desire? Can I find a more rational and virtuous way to satisfy this desire? This process of rational reflection allows individuals to distance themselves from their immediate impulses and evaluate them from a broader perspective. It's a powerful tool for exercising self-control. Marcus Aurelius frequently mentioned the importance of rational reflection in his meditations. He believed that by analyzing our desires and impulses, we can uncover their true nature and decide whether they are worth pursuing. In addition to rational reflection, the Stoics also practiced negative visualization, which involves contemplating the potential loss or absence of the things we desire. This practice can help reduce the intensity of desires and make self-control more attainable. Chapter 6. Cultivating Resilience. Self-control isn't just about managing our impulses. It's also about building resilience in the face of adversity. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Our actions may be impeded, but there can be no impeding our intentions or dispositions." Let's expand more on cultivating resilience. Resilience, in the Stoic sense, is the capacity to maintain inner tranquility and virtuous conduct in the midst of external challenges and setbacks. It is closely intertwined with self-control because it involves the ability to respond to adversity with rationality rather than emotional reactivity. Stoicism teaches us that life is inherently uncertain and adversity is an inevitable part of the human experience. Therefore, it's essential to cultivate resilience to navigate the ups and downs of life without being thrown off course. One of the Stoic practices for building resilience is the premeditation of adversity. This involves mentally preparing for potential challenges and setbacks. By visualizing adversity in advance, individuals can mentally rehearse how they will respond with self-control and virtuous conduct. Another Stoic technique is the practice of turning obstacles into opportunities. Marcus Aurelius encouraged seeing adversity as a chance to exercise virtue and strengthen one's character. When faced with difficulties, individuals can ask themselves how they can respond in a way that aligns with their values and principles. Resilience is a trait that can be developed and strengthened through deliberate practice. It involves acknowledging discomfort, accepting it, and choosing to respond with self-control and a virtuous mindset. Chapter 7. Self-control in modern life. In our fast-paced modern world, self-control is more critical than ever. It's the force that enables us to navigate the complexities of life, make wise decisions, and find contentment in an age of constant distractions. Let's expand more on self-control in modern life. The challenges to self-control in the modern world are numerous and diverse. From the constant notifications on our smartphones to the abundance of tempting indulgences, our environment is designed to test our ability to exercise self-control. In this chapter, we will explore how self-control manifests in various aspects of modern life, including technology and distractions. The digital age has brought unprecedented levels of distraction. Self-control is required to resist the pull of social media, notifications, and endless scrolling. Health and wellness. Maintaining a healthy lifestyle often requires self-control, whether it's choosing nutritious foods over indulgent ones, sticking to an exercise routine, or prioritizing sleep. Finances and spending. Impulse buying and overspending are common challenges in the consumer-driven society. Self-control is crucial for financial well-being. Work and productivity. Self-control plays a pivotal role in time management, task prioritization, and avoiding procrastination. It's essential for achieving professional goals. Relationships and interactions. Effective communication and conflict resolution often require self-control to prevent impulsive reactions and foster understanding. Habits and addictions. Breaking unhealthy habits or addictions necessitates a high degree of self-control. It involves resisting the pull of immediate gratification for the sake of long-term well-being. In conclusion, the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius on self-control provides a timeless guide for modern life. His teachings remind us that, in a world of distractions and impulses, we possess the power to choose our responses, prioritize what truly matters, and cultivate inner resilience. Whether it's through Stoic mindfulness, self-discipline, or overcoming impulses, self-control empowers us to lead more intentional, virtuous, and fulfilled lives. As we reflect on the teachings of Marcus Aurelius, we find a profound truth. Self-control isn't about restriction. It's about liberation, the freedom to live in accordance with our highest values and aspirations. In an era where distractions are abundant and temptations incessant, the Stoic wisdom of self-control remains a beacon of hope, guiding us toward a life of purpose, virtue, and enduring tranquility. By embracing and expanding upon the profound insights of Marcus Aurelius, we can navigate the complexities of the modern world with grace, wisdom, and unwavering self-control.